Hey there, guys. Happy Wednesday. I'm coming at you live here in our Facebook group, which is going to be put onto our YouTube video as well. And we're talking about Pain Science Part 4. This is our final video in our Factors of Pain over the month of August here, which started in July. All right. We are talking about a new book from Dr. Tom Walters, who's a physical therapist, called Pain Science. And these are the really fourth series of Factors of Pain we'll be tackling in the final series. All right, so stay till the end because we're going to put all these factors of pain together in a nice guide for you guys to get if you do one thing. All right, we are talking about three topics tonight. Number one is social interaction, how you deal with people around you and your environment, and how that relates to your pain. Number two is anatomy and posture, how your posture might not be affecting your pain, or it might be. Stay tuned for that. And number three is touch, how touch can play a role in your physical therapy and your rehab process, altering your levels of pain here and there. Okay, so let's start with number one, which is social interaction, right? Regular and healthy social interaction is really shown to help boost and improve your immune system and helping you overcome your pain and improve your function. Okay, so what do I mean by that? I mean talking to people, going to the grocery store, sitting at the bus stop waiting with your kids to hop on the bus, talking to your neighbors, right? Just exchanging kind of innocent conversation can help you boost your immune system by releasing different levels of hormones that help us feel better overall and help us forget about our pain. And that's why sometimes staying busy helps us get rid of that pain a little more quickly too, because we're not thinking about it constantly as much. All right. On the other end of the spectrum, there's people who have chronic pain who've had pain for more than 3 months, right? Who often withdraw from social interaction because they feel uncomfortable, right? These people don't want to risk flaring up their symptoms. They become so fixated on their pain that they tend to talk about it all the time to friends and family. And those friends and family tend to overreact to it, right? They tend to just be like, who cares? It's like The Boy Who Cried Wolf, if anyone's read that book when they were a kid. I know I read it many times for school. But anyways, they pick up on these reactions and they just like don't want to listen to the person. And that pushes the person more towards isolation. So what happens when they get isolated, right? They get more depressed, which leads to them feeling even more anxious, which leads to them even feeling more pain. So it starts that whole negative cascade where they drop into more and more chronic pain. And then when they go to physical therapy, there's not really too much you can do at that point. You have to address your mindset and these other things going on around it, right? Because anxiety can lead to that depression, which makes your pain worse and harder to treat, right? So make sure if you have people in your life who put you in a negative frame of mind, that's going to affect your pain. So you want to try and avoid these people because they're going to exacerbate your pain. So one thing I like to do with a lot of my clients is like, write down and keep a log of how you feel when you're around certain people in terms of your pain and your mindset. And also write down how you feel at work because a lot of people only have pain when they're around certain people and only have pain when they're in certain environments like work. So keep in mind that can be affecting you. And there's people who have changed their jobs, made more money, and felt a lot better when they take those negative people out of their lives or they change the environment that they're working in. So very, very important, right? And oddly enough, guys, you want something really simple to do. Humor and smiling have been shown in studies to really help boost your immune system health because it can improve how you feel. Like how simple is that? Like watch something funny on Netflix, watch a funny video on YouTube, go on social media. That's one positive aspect of social media, right? You can find something funny or share a funny video with a friend. You both can laugh about it the next day at work, right? Social interaction is so, so, so important. All right, moving on to number two, anatomy and posture. Your physical structure that you're born with, you cannot change and you cannot kind of choose, so to speak, right? This comes from your parents, from your genetics, from different family members. And some people are born with hypermobility. This can predispose you to certain injuries. Some people are born with hypomobility, meaning they don't have a lot of joint movement, meaning they're very stiff, right? But the good thing is, guys, you can always work around these issues and you can make movement modifications based on your anatomy. And if you don't know how to do that, or you're unsure about it, or you feel it's unsafe doing it on your own, consult a physical therapist because they're going to help you get to that goal of improving your joint flexibility or improving your muscular strength and stability if you do have excessive flexibility. Because excessive flexibility could be an issue, just like being extra tight can be an issue. All right. So hip joints in some people, let's use this as an example, won't allow them to squat typically, like with their kind of feet close together, right, in a narrow stance with them turned in a little bit or neutral facing forward. And the reason for that is because some people's hip anatomy is very different than other people's, right? So if someone has pinching or they feel pain or discomfort, or they just physically can't get to the bottom of the squat, bringing their butt underneath their kind of knees, so squatting butt to the ground, right, ass to grass, some people say as well in the gym, right? That means they shouldn't be forced there, and they might be meant to take a wider stance, meaning taking their feet outside of shoulder width and then turning them out. That's just because of their anatomy. Okay. Sometimes people right, are affected by posture too. Posture is important because it can also kind of trigger certain symptoms, right? Your body might be telling you during a squat that it's not ready to go to a certain depth because maybe you have a hip ligament sprain or maybe you have a low back ligament sprain, right? So if you have the sprain or something going on there, there's research suggesting that you should not move into that activity yet. And your body's telling you not to do that by initiating that pain signal, which is like a check engine light, kind of like for your car, saying you got to bring it to the shop soon. You got to get it fixed and worked on. Your body's the same way. If you keep moving into that pain and adding load to it, you're going to develop more and more issues that are probably going to eventually require you to get surgery down the road. So keep that in mind. Very, very important. Research also shows that posture does not correlate well with the development of pain. Let me say that one more time. Research shows that posture does not correlate well with the development of pain. That is such an important statement because what is considered good posture varies from person to person. We used to think like, oh, I have to be in this perfect upright position posture, my head back, my shoulders back, chest tall, 24/7. And that is not the case anymore, guys. New research indicates that it doesn't matter typically how much we thought it matters in the past on what type of posture you're in, right? Good posture just means that you need to change positions pretty frequently, from this to this to this, right? To maybe leaning back, to maybe scooting down, right? Every maybe 60 to 90 minutes or so. That's why standing desks are so important now. And that's why their sales have probably boomed too. So typically what I'm saying is dynamic posture is more important than static posture, meaning like your posture during lifting and doing certain activities is going to be a lot more important than your posture while you're just sitting in one position, right? When that position becomes painful, when you're sitting in it for too long, it's usually because you've been in it for too long, right? So spending prolonged time periods in one position could lead to ischemia, which is lack of blood flow, which causes chemicals to build up. And that's what's your body telling you, by initiating that pain signal that you need to change positions to get rid of that pain, right? To get that blood flow to go to other areas, right? So keep in mind your next posture is your best posture. And then moving on to number 3, our final topic here, touch, right? Touch is very, very important. And, not everyone needs this, but people who tend to be anxious, people who tend to have social anxiety, they're going to get more benefit than the average person from being touched because when you're touched, what your body does, it releases a hormone called oxytocin or oxytocin. You can name it any way you want. It's kind of pronounced differently in the field. This aids in social bonding and helps people reduce their fear and their anxiety. So if you're really fearful or anxious, or maybe you don't have a loved one at home, you live by yourself, it might be a good idea to go in person to physical therapy and have someone do some manual therapy on you, be able to touch you, right, in certain areas, which will help release that hormone, which might essentially make you feel pretty darn good after your assessment, after your treatments, compared to like doing something online or searching YouTube and trying stuff on your own. Okay, so to recap, guys, now hopefully you're more aware of how number 1, social interaction, number 2, anatomy and posture, and number 3, touch play an important role in helping you overcome your levels of pain. These are our final 3 factors in our factors of pain talk for today and for this month. If you guys like our free pain science guide that summarizes our last 4 videos in deep detail so you can learn more about how these kind of hinder your rehab progress and how to kind of overcome them, be sure to number 1, like and subscribe to our YouTube channel, and number 2, comment the word pain below in all caps. Okay, thank you guys for tuning in so much, and we will see you next week where we'll be shifting gears to talk about the cervical spine, otherwise known as the neck. All right, thanks guys so much, and have a great rest of your day.